Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. At the beginning of our movie today, we find a party being held at the Casablanca Resort. We learn that Weston and Valentina are here to spend their vacation. At one point, while Weston is standing at the bar, a man with his head covered comes over and grabs Valentina's bag, but she holds onto it tightly and even scratches his arm. When Weston arrives, the man has already fled. Weston asks her if he should go after him, but she tells him it's not important anymore. A little later, they watch the fireworks together. The next day, they wake up late, missing the time they had agreed upon to go out. When they reach the boat that was supposed to take them on a trip, they meet Ramirez, the boat owner, who is visibly upset because of their delay. When another tourist named Kurtz shows up and offers him double the price, Ramirez tells him the boat is already booked. At that moment, a man named Gabe is standing nearby. He approaches Kurtz and agrees to take him and his family on his boat. When Gabe goes to get the bags, he realizes he forgot to hide the body of the boat's real owner. A short while later, Coast Guard agent Nico passes by them and warns them of an approaching storm. He sees the family boarding the boat Catch Me, which actually belongs to its rightful owner, Ken. However, Nico has no idea that Gabe has stolen the boat and is trying to divert attention. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Valentina finds numerous messages from her boss at work. She decides to leave her phone in the room to enjoy her trip without distractions. On the Catch Me boat, Kurtz and Larissa make a bet. Whoever catches the biggest fish gets to choose their airplane seat on the way back. Eliza, their daughter, isn't very interested in the competition, but her father tells her to put her phone down for a while. At this moment, Gabe throws the murder weapon into the sea, causing blood to spread in the water. As the knife sinks to the bottom, we catch a glimpse of a terrifying shadow passing over it. At that exact moment, the fishing line tightens, and Larissa asks her daughter to help her father. Meanwhile, Gabe takes advantage of the distraction to steal their money. When Kurtz pulls the fishing line, he finds the head of a shark on the hook. The horrifying part is that the other half of the shark has been eaten, and suddenly the boat shakes violently with them, and Kurtz screams with fear and calls out to him, so he rises to the surface of the water and tells them that everything is fine. But before he can get to the boat, something is pulled from below and the water around him turns red, and when Jep comes to see what is happening, he is terrified as well, and the costumes save her father. She falls into the water as well, and the shark rises and eats her. As for Larsa, she sat screaming while she saw his father being eaten in front of her eyes. At that time, Jep throws a float in the water. He jumps into it and starts paddling to get away from the place. And at that moment, the shark jumps and swallows Lars as well. When we return to Weston and Valentina, we find them still arriving at the port. Ramirez complains about their delay and then asks to see their papers because he is procrastinating so that he does not take them out on the trip. But Weston proves to him that they have all the licenses. Ramirez tells him where the diving equipment is and prepares for the upcoming storm and tells them that there is a mobile number in the cabin in case any problem occurs. They begin their trip and are very upset about it until suddenly the boat stops with them, so they are very shaken. Weston tells her that he will go down to see what the problem is and that this is not the first time he has traveled in a boat, and he will definitely know how to deal with it without calling anyone. Meanwhile, on the island, Nako is talking to his friend Margot and tells her that he is surprised Captain Kane's wife called them, worried about him, because he saw Mark Peking moving a while ago, so he decided to send a patrol to make sure everything was okay, and Margot told him that she would go instead of him. Meanwhile, Weston had fixed the problem with the boat, and Valentina was approaching him to go down to the water. Here, we learn that Weston intends to propose to her underwater. When he comes out, he finds Valentina has gone down to him and moved away from the boat, and she pities him and says that he is a slow kid. After that, she dives and finds a statue in the middle of the sea. She wakes up and takes it. Then they continue exploring underwater and watch the fish, and they do not notice that there is a shark swimming around them. While they were watching the sinking ship, Valentina starts filming it, and here Weston feels that this is the right moment to propose to her, so he takes out the plastic bag, but it slips from his hand and he goes out. Above the water, Weston is forced to go after him before he gets lost and leaves Valentina alone under there. When Valentina looks around to look for him, she doesn't find him and sees a shark in front of her coming towards her. So she runs as fast as she can to escape from it and enters the ship's opening at the last moment before the shark reaches her. But then she realizes that this way, she won't be able to warn her lover and will be considered trapped inside this ship, so she wants to act and takes pictures with the camera to send a message to her lover with the flash that there is danger. But unfortunately, the flash provokes the shark, so it approaches her again and tries to enter it, and Valentina takes advantage of the opportunity and escapes from the other side and comes to the surface of the water. Finally, Valentina reaches West, but the two are far from each other and neither of them hears the other. And Valentina tells him that there is a fish, a shark is below, and he tells her that he will move her stairs far away, and then we find the shark approaching Valentina, and they are considered only 1 meter away, but she moves away from her when Weston starts hitting the boat, and instead of getting on the boat, he confronts the shark and hits it with the oxygen tank, and this actually helps them and makes the shark move away a little, and the two of them are able to get on the boat, and then Valentina tells him that she feels dizzy because she was swimming fast and she wants to walk. But Weston tells her that if the boat's motor starts, it will attract the shark's attention, and it is better for them to wait for her to move away from herself first. And then Valentina suspects that he ran away and left her as soon as he saw the shark when he came up without even warning her. And here he is forced to confess to her and tells her that he was going to propose to her, but the ring slipped from his hand, and Valentina is very happy when she hears this, and Weston decides to propose to her without the ring, and he puts on a plastic string instead of it, and when he sits on his knee and proposes to Valentina, she agrees. But at that moment, something hits the boat hard, making them fall. At that moment, Weston realizes that they can't wait. He tries to use the radio, but it hits the boat again. This time, Valentina falls and hits her head and loses consciousness. Weston, as soon as he sees this, gets scared and runs to help her. Meanwhile, the shark keeps hitting the boat until the boat flips over with everyone on it. All this, of course, while Valentina is still unconscious. Weston takes her and returns with her to the overturned boat. The shark keeps circling around them. After Valentina wakes up, he tells her what happened, and she tells him, crying, that she can't see well, but they assume that it's because of the bump that happened. At that moment, Weston gets worried and tells her that they need to call someone in as soon as possible, but he realizes that she left her mobile phone in the hotel, and he left his mobile phone in the room of the capsized boat. When he comes to test her eyesight, he finds that she is able to distinguish the movement in front of her, but she still cannot see well. So, he asks her to keep looking forward and hit the boat if the shark appears again. Valentina is upset when she understands that he intends to dive to get the mobile phone, so she wants to stop him. But he tells her that they have no other solution and gives her a pipe to defend herself with in case the shark comes near her. Then he goes down into the water and enters the room, and Bella is in the bag, but Valentina does not see the shark approaching. When Weston returns, the shark pulls him by the legs, and Valentina hits the shark with the pipe and follows them. Bella finds that the phone is on, and Nico calls him and explains to him what happened. They tell him that they are close to an island, but they cannot send him the location. There's because they don't have a network. Nico tells them that there is a rescue team looking for another boat near them and will send you a message to hang up on them, and calls Margarine the shark, who believes this because there haven't been sharks in the area for about 15 years, and she tells Nico that she still hasn't found Ken's boat. And after a while, the storm they were warned about arrives and it starts raining really hard, and on top of all that, the shark gets closer to them and starts hovering around the boat. And here Valentina asks Weston to tie her to the boat, and because she still can't see and he can't swim, so they act, and each one does what they can to survive this mother of disaster. And then she tells him that she will swim to the island and Weston is required to pull the rope if she moves wrong. And this is because she won't be able to know if she is moving right or wrong and she can't see. And as much as the plan is very dangerous, but unfortunately, they have no other solution. After he ties the rope around her, he starts the second part of the plan, but neither of them knows where the shark is. Valentina goes into the water and swims quickly. Suddenly, the shark appears behind her. Weston tries to warn her, but unfortunately, she doesn't hear him. So he takes the jacket he tied his leg with and throws it into the water to catch the shark. Valentina keeps swimming quickly to reach her before the shark reaches her. On the other side, Weston tries to get away from the shark when it attacks, until the shark finally gives up. At that time, Valentina has reached the island and is floundering and starts to pull it, but the boat doesn't move from its place. In addition, the shark stands in the middle and some eggs are waiting for it to leave. At that time, Nico calls Valentino and tells her that the rescue boat is coming for them. When she says, Lewiston tells her that he didn't see anything, and Margot also tells Nico that there are no capsized boats around her. After a while, she finds the Catch Me boat, and when she searches, she finds Ken's body. She beats Nico and tells him what she saw. She also tells him that there are many signs that indicate that sharks attacked this boat, but that this is not the reason for Ken's death, because she found him stabbed with a knife. Nico calls for help at different islands, and this means that the island that Valentina is on is Devil's Island. Because of the tide, this island sinks at night, and there is also a storm, and Margot won't be able to reach it before her. Nico informs Valentina that they will send her a plane to protect her from the storm. After Valentina hears this, she becomes more worried and starts pulling the boat little by little, but the shark keeps cutting her until the rope slips from her hands and she can't see anything. While she was looking for the shark, it keeps attacking Weston, and whoever tries to escape from it with good luck. And when Valentina finally finds the rope, someone comes from behind her and speaks Spanish. So she gets scared and tells him to stay away, and she still can't see well. And when we see this person, we find out that it is Gib who killed Kane and stole his boat. And when Gib speaks in English, it makes Valentina feel more comfortable around him. She allows him to help her, and he tells her that he also came to this island after experiencing an accident. On the other side, Weston feels uneasy seeing his fiancée with a stranger on a remote island. But Gabe helps Valentina pull the rope, which allows them to bring the boat ashore faster. Valentina, feeling anxious, asks Gabe if Weston is close or not yet. This is when Gabe realizes she has poor eyesight. Finally, they manage to get Weston to the island. Weston thanks Gabe for helping them, and Gabe tells them he has made a fire on the island and invites them to sit with him. While they're sitting, Gabe tells them about a friend who experienced the same thing as Valentina, and since then, unfortunately, his vision hasn't been good. Weston tries to change the subject and asks Gabe how he ended up there. Gabe lies to them, saying he was out with his family and his little sister was learning to fish. He recounts what happened with Kurtz and his family as if they were his own family. Weston and Valentina sympathize with him and assure him they will get out of there. When Valentina tells him that the Coast Guard is on its way, Gabe becomes very nervous. Weston also gets worried when he learns that the waves are rising. He asks if they can use the float if the plane is delayed, but Gabe tells them the float is useless and suggests using their boat for safety. Weston asks to speak to Valentina alone, and she tells him she doesn't trust Gabe because his story doesn't make sense. However, since Gabe is the only one physically capable among them, Weston tells her they need him to survive. Later, they start moving the boat away from the rocks and decide to spend the night on it until the rescue team arrives. While the others are fixing the boat, Valentina is walking around and trips, discovering a corpse. She screams. When the others rush to her, Gabe finds Kurtz's body. He tells them that's his father. Next to the body, he finds the plastic bag containing the ring. He takes it and puts it in his pocket. After seeing this, Valentina becomes terrified and tells Weston they need to leave as soon as possible. Weston tells her that the boat is okay, but it's stuck in the rocks, and he and Jeb don't know how to get it away from the rocks on their own. So, Bet thinks that they should take advantage of the shark, and she tells him that they need bait to do so. At that time, Jeb says that the fish won't be enough for the shark, so Bet thinks that they should tie up the remains of Quartz and use them as bait. Weston and Valentina are terrified by the idea, but he pretends to cry. But he pretends to cry and tells them that his father would be happy if he could save him, and his performance is actually convincing. Then they try to carry out this plan, and at first they feel that the shark is ignoring the bait and that the plan will fail. But then they find it suddenly appearing and pulling the boat into the water in seconds. As they expected, the rope comes undone by the force of the movement, and the young men are able to get onto the boat. Weston leaves his cell phone with Valentina and tells her to hold on to the rock until he comes back to get her. When Nico calls her, the water is up to her feet, and he tells them that the plane will move now and arrive in less than an hour. When she tells him that there is a third survivor, Nico connects the events and tells them not to drive in it. He explains to them everything that happened on the second boat. Unfortunately, the boat is far away, and Valentina is unable to warn her lover after the guys fix the motor and bring the boat closer to the island. Then they call for Valentina, but she can't see anything, and the water level is very high. Weston decides to get off the boat and go to her. He tells Jeb to watch the shark. At that moment, Valentina follows Weston's voice, and they both move very slowly so that Tosh doesn't attract the shark's attention. After they reach each other, we find the shark swimming next to them. Then she whispers in a low voice and tells him what Nico told her. Weston tells her that he will deal with it, but only after they get out of the water. At that moment, things get cold. Jeb puts on a jacket and goes to help the guys. When Valentina goes up the ladder, the shark appears and returns to it again. Weston is startled and goes back and tells her to get up quickly. When the shark attacks him, Weston confronts them and they beat him. Valentina starts screaming. After it swims towards the boat, the shark comes from behind it and eats it. Jeb gets scared and moves the boat without waiting for Valentina to get on the boat, but luckily the boat breaks down and stops. The boat breaks down and stops. Valentina sneaks onto the boat without Gabe noticing and hits him because he tried to escape and leave them behind. He tells her he thought she was dead too and offers his hand, asking her to trust him. At that moment, Valentina notices the scratch on his hand and realizes he's the same guy who tried to rob her at the party. She tells him the police are on their way and that they know exactly what he did. He hits her and tells her he'll have escaped before the plane arrives. Here, he confesses that he was attracted to her, but unfortunately, they can't be together. Hearing this, she becomes even more frightened and locks herself in, searching for anything to defend herself. Gabe breaks down the door, saying things have spiraled out of control, but he insists he's not that bad of a person. When she raises a metal rod to hit him, he grabs her hand and gets angrier. Valentina picks up a wooden plank with nails and hits him in the face. As he removes the plank from his face, blood drips into the water, which attracts the shark. The shark starts ramming the boat violently, creating a hole in it. Water begins to flood the boat, and Valentina hears Gabe's screams as he's pulled under, surrounded by blood. The ring box floats to the surface, and Valentina takes the ring and wears it. She then tries to fix the wires as Weston had been doing earlier. Afterwards, she climbs to the top of the boat. By this time, the shark is near. As soon as the boat moves, the shark starts attacking it. Valentina moves to the front of the boat to face the monster. She grabs a metal rod and waits for the shark to attack again. At this moment, Margot and Nico arrive by plane. But Valentina decides she must kill the shark before leaving. And as soon as the shark attacks the boat, Valentina starts hitting it until it dies, but then the boat sinks. And luckily, the plane arrives. And when they look for the young men, they don't see anyone, and they are about to leave. But luckily, the fireworks start, and Margot is able to see Valentina and moves. At that moment, Valentina looks at the ring on her hand and agrees to Weston's proposal. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos. See you next time.